The film Paris, Texas uses mise-en-scène very uniquely in its composition. Looking at movies by Barsom and Monahan defines mise-en-scène as literally staging or putting on an action or scene. Elements that are included as part of mise-en-scène include the framing, lighting, camera angle, costuming, and even color of a scene or frame. Paris, Texas was directed in 1984 by Wim Wenders, a German filmmaker. Wenders drew his filmmaking inspiration from paintings after growing up in post-World War II Germany and started his films by thinking of the frame first. He said that the frame is the main act. This gives a bit of insight to his filmmaking style and also provides an explanation for the uniqueness of his mise-en-scène in his films. One of the most striking examples of the film's mise-en-scène is its use of open and closed framing. In an open frame, the characters are free to move in and out of the frame, the audience anticipates a cut to another frame, and the world outside of the frame holds significance. One very typical way to use open framing in film is called the shot-reverse shot, which is typical during dialogue scenes. In the first shot of this two-frame sequence, one character is seen in one side of the frame over the shoulder of the other character. In the reverse shot, the second character is now seen on the other side of the frame over the shoulder of the first character. Wenders uses a very creative variation on the typical shot-reverse shot in Paris, Texas. In this shot, when Walt is driving Travis back to Los Angeles, instead of having Walt on one side and Travis on the other, Wenders puts both of them on the left side of the frame. However, since Walt's eye line is on the right side of the frame, it still creates a shot-reverse relationship between the two characters. Notice how when the two shots are stacked, Walt's eye line points directly to Travis's, and vice versa. Wenders also plays with closed framing, in which characters are constrained to the frame space. The audience does not anticipate a cut to another frame, and the outside world holds little to no significance. Paris, Texas uses closed framing most notably when Travis goes to talk to Jane at the Peep Show booth the second time. Travis, turning away from Jane, closes the frame by no longer creating the anticipation of a shot-reverse shot between Jane and Travis. Instead, the audience can now see both of their faces. The frame is expected to be opened again when Travis turns back to face Jane, but because we can see the reflection of Travis's face in the window, the frame remains closed. Finally, when the shot from inside the booth comes, it still remains closed because Jane has now turned her back to Travis. An element frequently used in the closed framing of this film is a frame within a frame. In this technique, another frame is created by the set, props, or other elements on screen to surround or highlight a particular person or object in the film frame. In Paris, Texas, again, the second Peep Show booth scene provides a vivid example of this. In the closed frame, where Travis is in the foreground and Jane is in the background, the window separates the two. The window frame creates a frame within the frame to highlight Jane and her reaction to Travis's story about the people he knew. When the scene flips and Jane is now in the foreground, the window frame creates a frame within a frame to highlight Travis's actions and reactions, which are relatively calm. Another vital aspect of the mise-en-scène of Paris, Texas is its use of color and color theory. Color theory is the art and science of color, and the part of theory that concerns the film is the subliminal and cultural implications of the color schemes used in a particular scene. Red is one of the most striking and noticeable colors in the film. It often appears in times of isolation for Travis, such as when he is riding in the car and traveling far away from the land in Paris he had hoped to make a home on, or when Walt first finds him and he is wearing a red baseball cap after wandering alone in the desert for 4 years. Generally, the color red conveys lust or anger, but this film uses it uniquely. The same goes for the color green, which typically conveys sickness or greed. In this film, washing green light appears in scenes where Travis feels connection to or care for his long-lost family, such as when he watches Hunter reunite with his mother. Blue in this film conveys a sense of idealism, and black, or the abandonment of all previous color schemes, implies a climactic event with different emotions and messages than any of the previous scenes. For example, the two Peep Show scenes have drastically different color schemes. In the first one, the color scheme is overflowing with red. Jane and Travis are both wearing red, the props in the room are all red, and even the light outside the booth is red. This serves to show the isolation between the two characters, which is furthered by the fact that Travis can't even bear to talk to Jane. In the second, Jane and Travis are both dressed in black, and the props in the room fit none of the previously used color schemes, indicating that this visit is vastly different from the first. As Travis tells the story of the people he knew, the slight bit of light blue in the curtains highlights the idealistic nature of the beginning of the story. The blue is eventually mostly cut from the scene as close-ups of Jane and Travis are favored, indicating the loss of idealism in the people's story.